Hi everyone, this is Rue on Paper and I'm back. Sorry for sort of disappearing over the holidays. I took some much needed time off. I spent time with my partner, my family, our cats, doing a whole bunch of nothing. And yeah, like I said, it was very much needed. It had been a very busy year. And I feel very recharged now, which is great. So I'm looking forward to sharing more videos with you, starting with this one. As we all know, the first week of 2024 is officially behind us, which means that I've been using these planners in front of me for a little over a week now. And it is time to open them and show you what I've been doing, what I've been liking, what maybe I have a feeling that I won't like in the long run, that I might change. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today. I want to preface this by saying that these 4 planners are all of the planners I'll be using this year that actually start sort of at the 1st of January and run until the end of December, whereas I also have 3 like journals, notebooks that I shared in a previous video that don't really have that sort of time frame, that are just undated journals with blank pages that I use for specific things. So I won't be talking about those today, but I will be talking about these. And the first one that I just want to briefly mention is this one. This is my 5-year Hobonichi Techo. It is very chunky. I absolutely love how chunky this is. And I'm not going to show you what's inside because this is just a place for me at the end of the day where I write down what I'm grateful for, but also just like what happened on that day. So this is a personal diary gratitude log that I will be keeping for 5 years. And the fun thing about this is that I try to write with a different ink each day. Well, probably not for 5 years because I don't have that many inks, but I try to not use the same ink color twice in a row. So that's been really fun. It's just a really short note that I write each day. So I'm comfortable doing that with a dip pen as well. So I can use inks that I don't have currently in a pen. And I've been really liking this. It's not much maintenance. I just sit down at the end of the day before going to bed and spend maybe 5 to 10 minutes reflecting on the day and writing something down. And yeah, I mean, I've only been doing this for 9 days now, but I have a feeling that this is not going to be too hard to keep up with. As for these 3 planners, I am going to show you what's inside. And I think we're going to start with this one. This one is definitely the one that I've used the most. It is my sort of headquarters. It is a sterlingink commonplanner in the A5 4-year size in a Hobonichi Have a Nice Day cover that you can also read here. And it's a nice reminder, you know, to see this every day. So let's see. On the very last day of 2023, I wrote myself this letter, which I'm probably going to blur out because it's kind of personal. But that was really a really nice thing to do, I think. It was a very reflective moment where I just looked back at the past year and sort of wrote to myself what I'm proud of, but also what I wish that I will do differently this year, sort of my hopes for this year. And I spent way too much time decorating this because this may seem like one sticker, but it's actually 2 washi tapes on top of each other. But because one of the washi tapes shines through, but it doesn't go all the way down, I had to sort of fussy cut both of them very precisely, which, yeah, that just took way too much time. But I'm also really glad with how it turned out, and it's not like I had anything better to do that day, so it's fine. Then, like I said, I'm going to leave the goal breakdown open, empty, at least for now. It's fine. And then we get to this page, which has been really nice to fill in, except for all of the times that I like smudged things. But that's just what happens in a planner, I guess. I've been tracking some habits here. And I just like color in a box whenever I've done that habit. As you can see, there are sort of varying levels of success. I have not been very good with reading mostly and singing. I have been good with not spending any unnecessary money. I have also been surprisingly good at flossing my teeth, journaling, and we did 2 workouts and went for 2 runs already, which to some people is not that much, but I actually feel really good about that. It's nice sort of slowly picking that back up. And I don't really mind if I don't do all of these things every single day. That's okay. I just like to see at the end of the month what I want to work a little bit harder on and what is already sort of a habit without putting too much pressure on myself. Then we have my sleep tracker. As you can see, my sleep was very good during the holidays. And then when we started working again, it already dropped to like 5.5 hours. Because, see, the problem is, like, my natural sleep pattern is wake up very late and go to bed very late. So we found ourselves most days over the holiday season going to bed at like 2 or 3 a.m. and waking up at 10, 11 in the morning, which works fine if you don't have kids and you don't have to wake up for a job. But the minute we started working again, that just dropped because we went to bed at like 10:30 and just could not fall asleep. And then the alarm clock rang very early, which was something that hadn't happened for 2 weeks. And, you know, smart people would start building up a more regular sleeping routine before they go to work. But yeah, we didn't. So that's a bit of a problem. But I'm sure this will sort of stabilize. And I don't know, it's not too big of a problem. All right, let's see. This is this month's monthly calendar, where I just put like all of the sort of dates that I already know I have some sort of appointment or reminder, something like that. This is the only spread that actually also has December in it. So I already had some time to play around with this. These stickers and also these stickers are all from the washi tape shop, for which I do have a discount code available now. If you use the code ReonPaper10, you will get 10% off your next purchase, which is very neat. I'll also mention that down in the description, and it's something that I'll talk about in another video into more detail. But yeah, I felt like January is usually such a dull and gray month that I would just add some color, some warm colors. So it's not very wintry or January themed, I guess, but I'm really happy with how this turned out. It looks cute, I think. And then we have the weekly spreads. So this was the first weekly I did. And there were two things that I started noticing very early on. One, I do not want to do this with fountain pen because I smudge that way too easily, which is, I love writing with fountain pen, and that works great for me with daily journaling, where I write sort of from left to right, from top to bottom. I don't write too fast, but when I'm working in these sort of to-do lists, this is just my daily task list. I jump up and down, I add things, I cross things off, and the chances of me smudging the ink are just too high, and that just annoys me. And I feel like the page looks very empty, which in part, of course, is because it was a week off, so I didn't have too many to-dos, but I also kind of miss some sort of structure. So for this week, I actually decided to divide the page into two, so I can use the top rows for sort of the priority of the day, something that I absolutely want to get done or at least work on. And then here below, I have noted just the tasks for the day that I've broken down in blocks of things that sort of make sense to me. It's not necessarily breaks in between. I don't use the timelines. I'm not working from 10 to 8 or something. It's just that this is where I start writing my to-do list for the day. And these are all sort of blocks that in my head make sense to batch together. It's just to make it look a bit more organized instead of having just one long list. That is just sort of how my brain works. That's been really nice. I'm liking this so far. Maybe I'll switch this up again. I don't know. It's just something that I like to experiment with, especially since I don't really have much experience using this type of vertical weekly layout. And then lastly, we have the daily pages. So what I'm doing here is just writing something during the day, usually a bit in the morning, a bit like somewhere around noon, and then a bit in the afternoon or in the evening. And just trying to fill up one page a day. I didn't write down anything for the 1st of January because we were with family the entire day. I didn't really have time to write, and I didn't feel like backfilling the entire day. So I just started on January 2nd. Just some simple decoration, just writing here as well. I'm really liking these stickers. These are from London Gifties, and I like how they match with the pens. Here I match them with a very dark brown ink. Let's see, then we have this page. On these 2 days I didn't really write a lot, which was in part because I didn't have a lot to write, but also because I really don't enjoy this pen and ink combination, at least not on this small grid. So I didn't write a lot for these days. And then this was yesterday. So I still have to write today. But I've been liking this so far. It's been nice to sit down and have some longer journaling than just a couple lines a day. As far as planning goes, I combine this planner with this one, and I'll show you what I mean. So for this one, let's see, let's start at the beginning. This page and this page sort of go together. This is my mood tracker. I have given sort of different types of moods a color. I do this with colored pencils, so the numbers correspond to the number of the pencil that I'm using. And I'm actually sort of regretting the green that I picked for sort of a peaceful, relaxed, peace of mind kind of mood, because I don't know, it looks kind of okay on camera, I guess, but it looks very yellowy and a bit, I don't know, acidic on in real life. I don't really like it, but it's fine. So what I do here is I write a very short note about my mood that day, or sort of what happened that day that influenced my mood. And then I color in the day based on the mood that corresponds to. So, for example, here on Wednesday the 3rd, I wrote down that I was productive and that I had a lot of time to myself, which is something that always gives me a lot of energy. So that is the excited and energized mood. Whereas here I just wrote down that it was a very nice day off, which was the peaceful, relaxed color. If a day has two colors, that means that it's sort of alternated between sort of the first half, second half of the day. doesn't have to be that precise, but it does show that there was kind of a mood shift during that day. And then I also give each day a number. I rate my mood on a scale from 1 to 5, which I put down here, so that at the end of the month, I will have this sort of graph that'll correspond to the mood tracker. And what I'm going to do here on the left side is write some observations based on my mood and sort of how I was feeling that month. So that is sort of the first pages of the planner. And then we get to the weeks. And the weeks correspond to the weeks in the A5 planner. So you can see I've used sort of the same style of decoration. That is just something I do for fun, but it's also to indicate that these are sort of related. So what I'll do when I'm doing my weekly reset and planning for the next week, I will look at the monthly calendar in the A5 planner, and I will write down for the week what my appointments are, what are the things that I need to take into account that I shouldn't forget. For this week, that's not too much. I'm guessing that for most weeks, it'll be a bit more, there will be a bit more going on. And then on the right side, I write down the things that I want to do that week. Sort of free form, brain dump. There isn't really any order. The to-dos can be a bit longer. Usually when I write them down here in these narrow columns, I want to have sort of 1 or 2 words that are enough for me to know what I have to do. But here I can be a bit more elaborate in what that to-do encompasses. So, for example, I noted that I wanted to plan with my partner when we have time to go for a run together, because that's something that we like to do together. Mostly because if I have to be disciplined enough to run on my own, it just doesn't really happen. So I'm really glad that that's something that we can do together. But I also wrote down, for example, that I have to prepare for a certain meeting and that there are sort of 3 things that I have to do for that. So now that I have that here, I can just prepare for meeting as a very short task in my A5. So that's what I'll do here. I just sort of brain dump for the week. These are all the things that I want to do. And I use this when I'm planning the tasks for the day. And I did this last week as well. So you can see again that these pages sort of overlap in terms of the decoration. I'm not really too pleased with how this turned out, but for this week, I'm really liking this. It looks really, really nice. In the back of the planner, there's a couple notes pages, and those note pages are just for sort of my private thoughts. It's when I want to journal about things that I don't really want to share on the internet. So that can be anything really. And I don't know how much I will use those pages because I'm actually quite open with what goes on in my head and what I put down on paper. But I'm sure there will be sometimes when I just want to write something down that I do want to keep, that I do want to be able to refer back to, but not want to share on the internet. So it is just easier to put that in a separate place. So that is sort of how these 2 planners interact, work together, and together these are sort of the core of my planning system. And in some ways there is duplicate information. And I think one of the challenges for this year will be to figure out how much that helps me or how much that annoys me. For now, I'm thinking it's probably going to be fine because I have all the information I need in this planner for taking I can take this with me in my bag and I'll be fine. I can plan appointments. I have a place to write down some journaling. I have a place to write down some to-dos. And this one is just open on my desk the entire day. So in that way, they sort of work together and they are complementary. But I'll just have to see how that works for the rest of the year. I might consider, but these are some very premature thoughts but I might consider using just one planner, just one book for planning next year. But for now, these two are great together. And then lastly, we have my media journal, which is this one. I've been keeping up with this, but I'm not sure how much I'm going to be writing in this, other than just sort of daily notes about what I'm reading, watching, listening to. Let's see. So for example, for the first month, actually, because I started using this in December, I wrote down each day what I watched, what I listened to, what I was reading, did some short journaling on the right-hand page, did a little bit of decoration. And that was really nice. And that is something that I will probably keep on doing. But there is also a ton of note pages in the back, especially because I got the Hobonichi Mega, the Weeks Mega. So there's a ton of pages. And I'm not sure if these will all get filled up at the end of the day. We've been making lots of progress watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. So that was nice. We've watched Castle in the Sky, a Studio Ghibli film that we hadn't watched before. So we're slowly working our way through this list. But other than that, I haven't really added any pages. I probably will, but I also foresee that I'm not going to be using all of these pages. Well, I will use them in some way or another. I don't really like throw the pages away or just leave them completely unused. But this is also one of the things that for this year, I really want to experiment having a separate planner for my media consumption and be able to elaborate more if I want to. If at the end of the year, and I know it feels crazy talking about this in January, but here we are. If at the end of the year, or probably even in September, when sort of Hobonichi season and planner season comes around, if by that time I have the data to tell me that I don't need this much space for my media consumption, for tracking it, for making notes on it, and if I have enough empty space, for example, in my Common Planner N1 or in my Common Planner A5, to incorporate all of the journaling that I did in this one, then that'll be a lesson for next year, that I don't need this many planners. I guess this is the year of learning, of experimenting, and trying out a new sort of style of journaling. And so far, I've been really enjoying this. I love having this much space in my journals. I love having different places to decorate, but also to have just a little bit more freedom. I don't want to be too strict this year with how I'm using my journals, with how I'm decorating my journals. I want to have a bit more fun, really. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm really enjoying this for now. So I think it's time to stop rambling now. I hope that you are all doing well. I hope you had a great holiday season. I hope you had the chance to catch up with loved ones, to take some time for yourself. And I hope you are looking forward to 2024. And yeah, let's keep in touch. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.